What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Tide Talk. It's Sunday, October 27th, and we're back to talk RIFC's 8-1 Massacre of Miami. And we'd figured we'd bring in some special guests to celebrate the last team season, inaugural season, final match. You know a lot of their names from all of the Tide Talk content that's out there. So I've got as always, Ryan in here on the Tide Talk podcast. We've got Matt Hands, we've got Andrew Quadros, we've got Timmy, and we've got the GOAT, Patrick McKenna. So cozy up. Fair. Too many hands in that one, right?
Yeah.
Let's dive into this one. But worth noting, since we've got this crazy setup tonight, I'm sure we're going to encounter some leggy, and we'll battle through it as it goes. A lot of people in the chat and on screen. Take a second to click the like button on this video. You can also find us on your favorite podcast applications like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And if you listen on one of those, we'd really appreciate it if you took a minute to leave us a 5-star rating and a short review, as it helps more people find our podcast. If you're not already using the RIFC Club Collector app, we're getting into the dog days for those on the pursuit of the 100 streak. Today's day 88. So make sure you get those clicks in if you haven't already. But you can also enter the code TIDETALK, all one word, to get a free pack added to your collection today. It's worth noting that our furry little friend Kevin is not with us today. We have an injury report update. Kevin is currently out with trunked vocal cords. The Call Hog Corner is in potential jeopardy tomorrow night, as Kevin is officially listed on the USL website as day-to-day. So we'll see if his vocal cords return. If not, be ready for some Matt Hands and Evan bromance on the Call Hog Corner, but it'll go on in some capacity. We wish Kevin all the best. The trunk wine was delicious and flowed very well throughout the night. So let's go around the table. We'll start with Ryan. How's your day going, man? How you feeling after last night?
I'm feeling good. I've just been so concerned. Like, was the field tilt enough last night? You know, you get an 8-1 victory, but was the field tilt enough? So just really racking my brain on that all day. But other than that, just a lovely Sunday, that came after a phenomenal Saturday night.
Absolutely. I'm just really upset that we conceded a goal versus that Miami team.
I kind of was pissed about it.
Yeah, I just saw it for the first time as I was in the merch line during that, which was. It took I think I left at the 40-minute mark and took us all the way into the second half. Just absolute insanity. Matt Hands, first appearance on the
merch line, though.
Go ahead, sorry.
Timmy, did you see the one goal that Miami got? Or were you just posing at the backsplash that you took a picture of?
Yeah. I saw the goal. That was a brief appearance at the press stand.
Did he have his pink RFC hat on too while he was taking those pictures?
All I'm gonna say is he looked great. We'll be on the Tide Talk website soon.
He's a good-looking guy.
That's it. Matt Hands, how's it going, dude?
Pretty good. Glad to be here. Feels weird.
Happy to have you.
It's good.
If you want, you can still type in the chat and harass us.
You can put the songs on.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Andrew Quadros, what's going on, my friend?
Not too much. It's been a fun weekend. Great day yesterday. Pats won today. Wasn't expecting that. Had a couple soccer games to go to with my son today, so it's been fun. Fun weekend.
Timmy was going for his Tide Talk RI.com website profile picture in the merch line, and we caught him red-handed. So that was the reference. Timmy, how's your day going, dude?
It's okay. I've been trying to actually write the player ratings blog and realizing I don't think the game yesterday meant anything. I don't know if there's that much to really take away from it. I don't know what kind of ratings we're going to go with.
So are you racking your brain with how do I give Noah a 6 and get away with it? Is that what's going on? Is that the internal struggle you're having? Or?
Honestly, I might go no ratings.
Probably,
Interesting.
It's a good tease.
Tune in to TideTalkRI.com for that one.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun one.
Oh god.
Last but not least, Mr. C upgrade himself, post-match essentials guru Patrick McKenna. What's happening, Pat?
Not much. It was this was a killer weekend. It was unbelievable. Last night I was vibing so hard this morning. I felt like it was like Christmas or something. But the opposite, when you wake up and it's you just did Christmas and it's still vibing hard. It was amazing. And then today we went to it was pretty kids were insane. But we took the training wheels off today, and the 4-year-old like flew. It was like just went, and I was like,
You mean literal training wheels?
literal training wheels, yeah. And I was like, wow, all right, cool. Now you are riding a bike, so that was pretty. That was
That's awesome.
It went from like weekend couldn't get any better to like, oh, cool, like won't ever forget this weekend forever. So it's
That's
cool.
amazing.
But
He's
also
a year
kinda
away
terrifying.
from playing on my team then.
Yeah. Seriously,
Another
right?
year. Yes.
Oh, good. Yeah, his player rating is going to be pretty high this weekend. But yeah,
That's good stuff. Maybe you can do the player ratings in cups of trunk wine too. That would be the I think a good metric to measure things. But let's dive into the match a little on this one.
7 cups of trunk wine.
Yeah, that's it. Let's dive in a little bit on this one, starting with the lineup. Koke Vegas in net, the back five of Quizera, Duggan, Yao, Stoneman, and Frank Nodarse at right wing back, I think was the big surprise that we all kind of were. How's this going to shape out? Could it be Clay again? Could it be Frank? What's it going to be? But it was Frank. And Ryan had an awesome quote when he saw that. He's like, Frank just gets to run around and have so much fun for this first half at least. And he did pretty well with it. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. The grown-up midfield trio of Zachary Herval, Mark Ibarra, and Clay Holstad. And up top, Noah Fuson and JJ Williams. So Ryan, the big question before this one was, how is it going to shape up and where was Frank going to be? But overall, pretty happy with the lineup.
Yeah, I was very happy with it. I do have to just start off with a bit of admission that I was absolutely dead wrong about what the lineup was going to look like. I was in the lot drawing it out for people after a couple cups of trunk wine, saying that it was going to be a back four. I was all hot and bothered about it. Quizera's playing left wing. It's like incredible stuff. And Andrew Quadros, who I will kick it to after this, set me straight multiple times. And then also afterwards, when it actually lined up on the pitch with Frank at right wing back, proceeded to remind me that I was dead wrong. So, Andrew, what did you think of the lineup?
I thought it was interesting. When you read the names, it looks like it could have been a back four, but I just kept going back to, I can't imagine in the last game of the year, as your semi warm up before the playoffs, that he would do anything different tactically. He might switch around certain people within that structure, but I couldn't see them really changing that formation all that much. So I kept looking at him like the only one that makes sense there is for Nodarse to be there. And I guess if you look at the last couple games, he's subbed into that position for spells of time, short spells of time in the last couple. But if there's an intention to maybe do that again in the playoffs, this is the perfect game to do it. He wasn't going to get much resistance when he's flying up the wing. He wasn't going to have to really participate much in the defensive capacity. So just let him run wild and build up some of those minutes and experience in that position. So I liked it. I mean, and then I also did like that they treated this game seriously. They didn't just sub in everybody right at the start. This wasn't like Indy 2.0, and they really wanted to make sure it was just a celebration for the people in the stands. So I was happy with that lineup.
How about you, Hans?
Yeah, it was interesting seeing Frank over there on the right. Like, kind of like Ryan, I sit at the tailgate, and like whenever the lineup comes out, I have to get my mind right, especially hard, actually with the trunk wine. But look at the players and figure out like, okay, where do I think these guys are going to line up? And I actually thought my bold thought was like Dugan left wing back and Quizera on the right because he's played on the right at a national team level, but. Yeah, I guess it made a lot more sense just to stick Frank over there. Interested to see if we think Frank is gonna start there going forward, or if Turnbull. Obviously, I know Turnbull came out late in the game, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it either. But yeah, I was interested to see if we think we're gonna see Frank there, playoffs.
Turnbull's also played a ton, so I think this might have been just a little bit of rest for him. But he did play the position very similar to Turnbull. He hugged that touchline, the sideline as much as he could throughout this one. Timmy, when we saw it, you and I were both kind of like, oh, shit, I think it could be Clay again at right wing back. So I think we were pretty happy it wasn't. Overall, pretty happy with the lineup, Tim?
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say, we should have kept metrics this year on how many times we talked ourselves into thinking the shape the formation is going to change, especially the second half of the year. I'm pretty sure we played the same shape every single game, and every week we talked ourselves into thinking maybe we would switch it up a little bit. By the last game of the season, we probably should have known it was going to be the same shape again.
Right. How about you, Pat?
Yeah, I mean, like everyone just said here, it was just great to see them come out with a real warm up for the playoffs, keep everything kind of consistent. Same guys, get those minutes against a team that that you're going to kind of hopefully wall up. And the formation was great. I like the lineup. It was great.
No, right on. And the action got going right away as in the 10th minute, Noah Fuson finds the back of the net. So let's take a look at that goal for the club's player of the year and the USL Championships Golden Assist Maker weird title that they got to work on and get a new name for. But here's a look at that first goal.
Pressure from Miami. Vegas just about gets it away. That's where Miami can have some danger moments as J.J. Williams with an excellent touch. Noah Fuson collects himself and scores! With the aid of a ricochet, Rhode Island jumps out in front.
And so often that Rhode Island does is that counter-attacking trend.
So we'll start with you, Ryan, as I know you are the big Noah Fuson man crush haver. Really composed finish from him. Obviously, he gets a little help from a deflection in there, but took his time with it and able to slot it home and beat the keeper to get the scoring started in this one.
Yeah, it was really nice to get a quick one in this because I was worried that if Miami scores first, this could get really nervy and kind of weird. And all of a sudden it goes from being this like celebratory night to this kind of like awkward and we're all get a little tense. But nice that Noah got on the board. I just was kind of worried because I was like, wait, I need Noah to get assists tonight, not goals. I need to be a little bit pickier there. But no, great by Noah. I think it's really just a continuation of the form that he's been showing, especially the past month or two, where he's just been red hot and he's just been such an offensive spark for this team.
So this is a full length of the pitch attack. McKenna, you must have had a good look at this one with your fancy seats and being up close at that one.
Dude, it was unbelievable. I couldn't believe like just where those seats were and the feeling like right on top of the action there it was unbelievable. And after that goal, when like Noah scored, he turned and like we locked eyes and I was like I thought he was gonna come high five me. It was pretty cool.
You sound like me right now. This is lovely.
It's pretty cool.
That's awesome stuff. Timmy, I know you had a big problem rewatching this with the football lines on the pitch, and this is a goal that covered it in full as you saw everything. The orange Miami kits were nice, but the orange football lines were pretty shitty, at least in my opinion. And I know you've got some thoughts on that as well.
Yeah, I can't believe Ryan didn't beat me to it, mentioning the Stoneman long ball that set that goal up, actually. So Koke takes dwells on the ball a little bit too long, which is kind of what you sign up for with playing out the back from Koke, but he gets the ball out, gets it to Stoneman, who plays like, I don't know if it was a perfect long ball or if the Miami defense is just not equipped really to handle it. Probably a little bit of both.
A little column A, a little column B.
Yeah. But wanted to give him credit for that. I feel like he's, I think, our best defender playing out of the back like that with the balls over the top. And then JJ takes a really nice touch, too, to get inside his man. Again, not great defending, but it was a good touch.
And the deflection certainly helped, but I think it just took a little bit more steam off of it and had it trickle in instead of go in. Matt Hands, thoughts on that goal?
Not much to add, really. I mean, yeah, Miami's defense was terrible.
No.
The Miami's defense is trash. Like so much.
That can just be like your auto response for the rest of this podcast.
Yeah, I know. So many goals. I mean, it's great to have so many goals to go through, but yeah, I mean, there was just so much space. Like it was eye opening. Like I knew they were bad, but seeing how much space there was, like every time we went forward, crazy.
Yeah, I know this is more of Andrew Quadros' world, but I'm a little worried about the Tide Talk finances with how many videos we're gonna have to play during this.
Right.
The thought space must be absolutely astronomical.
It's wild. Quadros, thoughts on that first goal, my friend?
Yeah, I mean, two quick ones were it was a good icebreaker, particularly early on, and I never really feared that it would be a painful game, but it was nice to just know we got it out of the way early, and it was going to be a party from that point forward. Then the other point was just I was impressed with how well JJ made that play in terms of taking that ball down and then assisting Noah. And granted, the lack of pressure helps with all that, and you can see it in all of the movements. You were saying Noah was like very calm in the way that he was able to do that. It's because I don't know, when you're playing under that calm pressure, or lack of pressure, you're able to kind of just do everything more fluidly, and you can tell it just all of their goals were very fluid, and some of them you can blame bad goalkeeping or you can blame bad defending, but they put themselves in good positions. They move the ball around quickly, and it was nice for them not knowing they weren't going to have a lot of heavy pressure to have to play that against.
Sure, well said. And we doubled it up 5 minutes later through JJ, who I think we'll talk a lot about in this one, and he was just phenomenal. And this was where Noah gets the assist to get the Golden Playmaker award. So let's take a look at
seasons back, then played with Columbus Crew 2, MLS Next Pro. It's on an Eastern Conference Championship side here as J.J. Williams is going to walk this in for 2. Well, it's a goal in some ways that sums up Miami's season. J.J. Williams waltzes.
So JJ held the line pretty well there, stayed on that last defender's shoulder. Interesting to see how close that would look on replay and slow motion, but a really, I guess, kind of like a cheeky finish there, as I expected him to go, to the right and, kind of dinked it back around. But overall, just a really good touch, a really composed finish there from JJ. But Matt, what were your thoughts on this goal?
Good finish for JJ. Yeah, I think it's a positive for him, obviously. I know he hasn't scored a lot of goals this year, and it's been, he's been banged up. He's had different, jobs given to him by Kano and all that. But I think it was really good to see him get on the score sheet there, and obviously the other two, which I'm sure we'll look at. But despite it being against like a Miami team that, again, we knew we were going to like crush like this, it was still good to he's got to do the finish, So it was a good finish.
Oh. I love Sarah's comment there. I would say Swiss cheese defense, but that's offensive to Swiss cheese as it is. But that's a pretty composed finish for a guy who's kind of been in and out of form, like you mentioned there, Matt. Thoughts on JJ? Really taking the time to slot that one home and pretty composed on it as well, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, I think even in that first goal, you saw his touch on the night just looked a little crisper, a little bit cleaner, and just he was kind of a man possessed in that first match. And he gets the assist in the first goal, but then just a cheeky finish. You can tell that's just the finish of a striker who's like in form and who's kind of ready to pile some goals on, which we ended up seeing throughout this match. So yeah, as Matt was saying, or nice on the chat as well. It's just a great confidence boost for JJ going into the postseason, because I think all year, Matt, me and you have been talking about like, once JJ gets off the mark, the team's going to be scary. Once JJ gets off the mark, we're going to be really hot. And I don't think if you could have been like, hey, what player gets like a hat trick or a couple goals tonight, he might have been my first pick. So excited to see that. That's
well said. At first I almost wondered, was he trying to go, near side on the keeper with it, or did it like take a little bit of bounce? Any insight from pitch side, Patrick?
Yeah, that is my cat. But yeah, man, it was no, I mean, I think like what Matt just said, the confidence boost, getting to see JJ really kind of come alive was phenomenal. It was an amazing finish, and it was couldn't believe so quickly. Like after the first goal, that we were already celebrating a second. It was too good to be true.
Timmy, is that your cat that's agreeing with all these takes on this one?
I think that's me.
Was that you? Oh, cool. Timmy, your thoughts on that goal, that striker's finish?
I mean, I'm going to expose myself as the trick to act like ball is just to like try to talk about what happened right before the goal and make that the take. So I just want to say,
don't give up all the tricks. What the hell?
It was a really nice through ball from Noah. And it was like a perfect run from JJ, the way that he bent it to stay on sides. I was sure he was offsides in real time and on replay until I like paused it frame by frame. But leading up to Noah winning the ball back, Haravaw initiates a press that actually like causes the turnover. That was really good stuff.
Sweet. And a pretty good kind of under the radar game for Haravaw on only 57 minutes, 8.8 on FOTMob with the 2 assists as well. But Andrew, any closing thoughts on that first JJ goal?
All right. So JJ did great last night. I am going to be a little bit of a hater on that goal. I think he was trying to chip it over the keeper and duffed it a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't think he was trying to go to the left.
Guys, this is the Positive Vibes podcast. What the hell?
Hey, everything leading up to that was great. I mean, the work that Haravaw and Fuson did, where I am in section 2, I was kind of right on that line, and JJ timed his run perfectly. He did everything well, and he was one-on-one with the goalie, and he slotted it home. But I do think that wasn't exactly his intention. Either way, it was a goal, and it was good to see him get off the mark for a guy that we were hoping would score more goals this year, and understand that his role hasn't really put him in the capacity to be able to score as many as maybe even he hoped for. So it was good to see. Obviously, he ended up scoring many more, but good to see him get on the score sheet and start feeling himself going into the playoffs too.
Yeah, one thing that just like double on that Timmy was saying about Haravaw and the press kind of being the thing that unlocked that attack. I think Haravaw moving to that kind of more the kind of the front of the press, I think has been a real big unlock over the past month or so, because he's been causing chaos. He's someone who kind of looks like a marathon runner. He can just keep going, and he brings a lot of intensity there. I mean, we saw it in the goal, I think against Tampa, was it, where he straight up got a goal because he pressed so well. So I think that's going to be an interesting dynamic in the playoffs of kind of who's the front man of the press. Is it Harabao? Do we mix up with Clay? But the fact that the two of them both can do that job, I think, is really special for this team.
He's kind of been the tip of the spear on both ends too, because he's leading the press, but then when we collect the ball in defense and we have time, he's the one going back and restarting the attack too. So he's been the perfect transition guy in both directions.
Yeah, he's one of those persons who's like, we always talk about Clay's heat map, but like I'm assuming Harabao's is just as insane every single match.
And I think a lot of what he's doing now is really unlocked Ibarra, who we'll talk about next. He got the third goal in his first goal for the club, but has been playing really well. Getting more on the assist tally since that first run of assists where, he was taking all those free kicks and just finding Frank's head. But a really good goal from Ibarra. Happy to see him, finally get one and get on it and give us that early 3-0 lead on 31 minutes.
Holstad lays it off. Fuson assesses the scene, picks out Nodarse. Haravo back across, it's 3-0! First time finish by Mark Ibarra, and it's his first goal of the season.
So to go with what Andrew was saying, and Haravo being all over the place and Ryan bringing up the heat map, but you see him win a ball, get back, get centrally. He's out wide here and plays that ball in, and I love the fact that Ibarra hits this first time and doesn't try to do too much with it. But like you said, Andrew, really leading up with Ibarra. With Haravo and everything he's brought to the team. Really nice pass in and a great finish by Ibarra on that, Andrew.
Yeah, it was a great play all around. And after the game, when we were collecting our players' signatures, and I spoke to Mark for a brief moment. And I was like, that was like a goal scorer's finish. I mean, he hasn't really been in those positions all year long. So he's taken a few kind of outside shots, but like he looked like a calm and composed striker sitting at the PK area, waiting for that ball to come in, and he didn't flinch. So it was a perfect strike by him. So really, really well done.
I really think that the last couple of minutes, last couple of matches in this one, Mark Ibarra might be one of our most improved players with the shifts that he's putting in. We see Clay, we see Harabao do what they do, but I think Ibarra kind of solidifying that adult midfield is what really is making this team going and that engine going. Your thoughts on Ibarra, Patrick, and what he brings to this side?
Yeah, I mean, from the whole season long, it's just been, really such a stalwart throughout, put in those minutes and been, I don't know, an unsung hero, I'd say. But it was really great to get to see him kind of culminate the season, which is really, as you've shown a lot of growth throughout, but with this goal. And I thought it was really special to get to see him on the scoreline.
Absolutely. Hans, give me some thoughts on that one.
Yeah, well, on Ibarra in general, like, I agree with what Patrick was saying. Like, he's been such an important, I think, an unsung player for us, like, all year. I was concerned a little bit when Harabao came in, because at the time we were only playing like the two center mids. I know lately we've had that adult midfield that Ryan loves to refer to, but yeah, it's been really good with the three of them. I think he's just been a really good player, connecting the defense to the midfield, kind of letting everyone else, letting Zach and Clay run forward. Yeah, it was surprising to see him have a good goal scorer's finish there, like Andrew said. But yeah, great to see. So
I do think that there were a lot of like key points during the season where things started to turn in a positive direction. Like Chumasi at right back at one point was one of them. And I think when they figured out not only the midfield, but when they figured out how to keep Haravo and Ibarra on the field at the same time, I think that's what unlocked them to kind of that next level that they're at now.
Right on. I'll save Ryan and Timmy on that one. We'll look at the fourth goal, and I'll get your takes first. As far as cats galore in here tonight. As far as us in a penalty and a good shout on that. So let's take a look at the goal that put us up 4-0 and JJ Williams.
A chance to put Rhode Island very much on the track for 3 points before the end of the half. And Williams delivers from the penalty spot. A first half brace for JJ Williams. And Rhode Island are on cloud 9 before half.
So we'll start with you on this one, Ryan. We've been, discussing on here who should be taking the penalties on this. And we talked a little bit last episode, and came up on the corner on with knockout matches potentially coming. What would that penalty order look like? Who's going to step up and knock down penalties in big spots? JJ, I have to agree, probably would have been my pick at this point. I could see Noah getting a nod. I could also see Noah losing that nod based on the last one he took. But if it was me, I'm Kano. I'm picking JJ on this one, and he absolutely fired it home like a striker should. And he seemed to really relish the moment. He stepped up there, he took his time, and just absolutely blasted one home.
Yeah, I mean, similar to Noah last week, the minute that penalty was called, JJ grabbed the ball and he was like, I am taking this, and screw everybody who wants to grab this ball from me. Like he's the biggest player in the team. And it's like, if you want to try to take it from me, you can, but you won't be able to. I thought he looked good. My only thing I'm going to say, I said it last time with Noah, I'll say it again with JJ. My only thing is the ref blows that whistle, take an extra beat or two, take a deep breath, and then go. Because even though he was kind of waiting, he immediately went for it. And again, there's research on this. It's very interesting psychologically, but just like take that extra second or two, make the goalkeeper wait, and then go. But again, he nailed it perfectly. The goalkeeper actually did guess the right side again, but his strike was just too good, too quick, too clean, and he got it through. So I think it was good. I think unfortunately some of the penalties this year, I know we've had some bad ones, but I think there's also been a bit of luck where the goalkeeper has guessed the correct way. So I just hope in the playoffs that we're really hitting spots that are going to be tough no matter if the goalie gets there or not. So
right on. Jason in the chat has JJ and Chico as 1 and 2 for taking penalties. Obviously,
we do our
Chico
5.
we might be able to get there, but without Chico being on the pitch at that point, Timmy, was JJ your guy to take that one?
Yes, easily. And I think based on the results, he's definitely got to be the choice going forward. Yeah, I feel like that could actually be like a sneaky big moment in the season. I feel like that's huge that we saw one go in, because we had Chico miss his in the Open Cup game and the penalty kicks. Then we had him miss, obviously.
And just never look confident on either one of them.
No, so I feel like we kind of had like an issue. Well, I'm not saying anything revolutionary. We definitely had an issue with penalty kicks, and I feel like we kind of solved it last night in the middle of a beat down. So I think that was actually a big moment.
Sure. Matt and Pat, is JJ your ace in the hole for taking penalties going forward?
Let you go, Matt.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, probably. Yeah, he took it well, and like they were saying, good to get, good to see one go in, especially before the season's over. We might have to deal with penalties in the playoffs, and so yeah, good to see him bury one. I think he's gotta go with JJ going forward.
Yeah, it was nice to get like the monkey off their back. I feel like that could have definitely been like a weird psychological thing, and I'm with you 1,000,000%, Ryan, about like taking your time. Like particularly that Noah last week was just, I was like, I couldn't believe how fast he was taking it. It was like stunned me. Yeah, take your time.
Andrew, I'm seeing a lot in the chat of JJ, Clay, Zach, Ibarra, and a bunch of question marks. I'm seeing JJ, Jack, Clay, Turnbull, Zach. First off, we'll start. Is JJ your favorite? And then we'll kick it back to you. We'll go to you and then go to Ryan to get maybe who would round out your 5 to take penalties if it came to that.
I would say it's JJ because he's the only one that's scored. Like, he's the only one that's done it all year. He's the only proof that we've had that someone's able to bury one when it matters in regulation. So I think it has to be him, and it was good to see that it was a very confidently taken one. And if we had not gotten one, I mean, we've only missed, we've only had a couple this year, and no one's gotten them in. I can't remember now who did or didn't get him in during that U.S. Open Cup game, but the fact that we can go into the playoffs now, and if JJ's on the pitch, I think it's confident. We can be confident saying he's the one that's taking it because he's the one that is in the form to do it. So it has to be him.
Right on. What do you got, Healy?
All right, so I got JJ, I got Zach Haribow, Clay, I'm sticking with Noah, and my surprise 5th is Grant Stoneman.
Decent shout.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I have a fun 6th, which is Koke.
Yeah. Jason's with you. Yeah, fuck it, Koke. Anyone on here got anything different as far as who you would want to see taking a pen?
Dude, Koke would be so amped for that moment too. I just want to watch that. I want to see that happen.
I hear that.
Does anyone want, before you make your suggestion, does anyone want the rundown of the Charlotte penalties?
I was asking if Timmy still had that open because I can't even remember now. I know Koke didn't play in that game because I was going to say if he was good at taking, he might have, but that was a league game.
All right, so we got Chico missed, Noah scored, Quizera scored. I think he would have been a good shout for my 5. Doyle scored, Burrito was saved, Holstad scored, and Gabby was saved.
Okay.
So I don't think Doyle's going to be on the field, but I bet he's fucking awesome at penalty kicks. I bet he's fucking amazing at penalty kicks.
Yeah.
I see that.
Hmm.
Right after this penalty, we did see Miami get on the board and get the differential to 4-1. I was in the merch line for this one. I think this is when Timmy was taking his selfies. But we'll take a look at this Miami goal. And, having watched it back this morning, just a classic, couldn't clear the line. So when we come back after watching this, we'll start with you, Hans, and get your thoughts on the one that broke the seal for Miami.
Spot, and Marky Barra's first goal for the club as well. And then Michael Lawrence gets one back from Miami. Well. Michael Lawrence gives Miami a little bit of hope at the end of the...
So kind of a weird deflection off Stoneman, and nobody really pounced on it. But overall thoughts on that one, Matt?
Yeah, weird deflection off Stoneman, like a back of his heel. He wasn't even facing the ball, and then so they weren't able to clear the lines. I think it was Yao, right, that was sliding to block it, and it got it might have gone off him and looped over Koke's head. So kind of a fluky goal, but yeah, we've had that problem though where at times we can't clear the ball away. We kind of screw around in there and then give up goals. So frustrating to see for sure. Definitely wanted the clean sheet, but obviously at the end of the day, it didn't matter. We had 4 by then anyway, and got another 4. So, but yeah, I would have liked to see a little bit better there, but
absolutely. We're hearing from some other people how crazy the merch line was. Absolutely insane. Like I said, took up most all of halftime and some for us. Quadros, thoughts on conceding this goal?
Yeah, it was disappointing. I mean, you weren't really worried about anything at that point, and it's not like Miami was really doing much to threaten. So I can't really blame it on the team letting their guard down so much. As it was just kind of a weird play, and I think the intensity throughout the entire match really wasn't at its highest level. Bernal did a good job of keeping the pressure on offensively, but defensively they were pressured or challenged so infrequently, and this was just kind of a weird one that bounced around. So it was more disappointing than anything else. But at that point, I mean, obviously we have the next goal to come, but we clawed it right back. So at least they continued to press on after that. So disappointing was the only word I really used for that one.
Absolutely, Pat. We've heard all positives from you so far, so let's get your take on the goal.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the first Miami game was way too close for my liking at all, and I don't know. There was something there was something weird about this one where I was like, this, I know we're already up now, 3 still, but something was slightly unnerving, but it was very grateful that we instantly got this one back. So, but yeah, I mean, it like you guys said, it was a freak goal. It was disappointing. But there was a part of me that was fuck, is Miami gonna really pull a spoiler out on us and surprise us now? But I'm glad that's not what happened.
Well, I remember when we were doing one of the live shows at Providence Brewing where we were looking at the playoffs predictions and kind of predicting all the last couple of games. A lot of us thought this could be a problem having to rely on this game. Luckily, it was more about seeding than it was, actually, whether we got in or not. But I think all of us kind of thought that this one was going to be a lot tougher than it was, the way it actually played out, based on how tough it was when we were down in Miami. But like Andrew said, we're able to get it back, and JJ completes his first half hat trick pretty instantly after the restart, and he gets that goal to put us up 5-1 going into the break.
Final seconds of the half ticking away as Darce moves it forward. It's going to be a chance here. J.J. Williams is in behind, and J.J. Williams has a first half hat trick. How about that? His 3rd, Rhode Island's 5th.
So, Timmy, I know you would like to talk about the build-up and lead-up to the goals today and what led to it. Frank looking like an experienced inverted wingback there, cutting in, finding Herzog, who hits a one-time pass and gets crunched immediately after. But JJ's able to walk it in. So, give us your thoughts on that goal.
Yeah, I just wanted to reference the old hockey saying of taking a hit to make a play. It wasn't a great pass from Frank. It was not a full suicide pass, but I I feel like if Heravac didn't do exactly what he did, he would have gotten blown up and turned the ball over. So nice play there. And then another just like confident but expected finish from JJ. Like he took a good touch around the keeper and just slotted it home. I don't know, like 2 months ago, if he would have handled it that same way with that confidence. So happy with it.
Hop in there on that goal, Ryan, and sum up the rest of the first half for us.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious to say that was a dominant first half by Rhode Island FC. I think in the halftime, they probably would have been pissed that they gave up that one goal more than anything. They probably didn't talk at all about the goals we scored. It was just the one goal we gave up. But yeah, it was really nice to see them take care of business, see JJ get that hat trick. You know, I don't think Miami showed up at all. I think it was kind of the Miami that we've been reading about, hearing about, and you know, when you look at the standings, they look as they do in the standings on the pitch. So happy we were able to take care of business. Happy we were able to kind of put this away in the first half because it allowed us to have some fun and see some faces in the second half that I think a lot of us were excited about.
For sure. Coach Almeida adds, honestly, the keeper was rattled. He had no back support. Start myself in the second half. The Defiance and La Banda drove him nuts. He flipped the crowd off at one point. So he was definitely rattled. His center backs were playing such a high line, and that's why we're able to get in so far behind and, you know, basically walk 2 of the 5 goals in the first half. So pretty ridiculous defending by them. And, you know, the worst team in USL Championship history statistically. So it definitely showed. And like Kevin adds, JJ is pivotal for this team's success. I think this was the game we needed for him to get in the playoffs and get him into that mindset. First half stats, possession was actually a lot closer than I thought. It was a 52% edge for RIFC. We outshot them 10-3, 7 shots on target to 1, 4 big chances to 0. We completed 233 passes at 84% to 222 at 86 for Miami. We committed 6 fouls to their 4 and had 3 corners to their none. But 5-1 scoreline, just a dominant display. And I really think, like you said, Ryan, what was talked about at the half, especially by Kano, I would assume would mostly be the goal they conceded versus the goals that were scored. But started off the second half kind of in the same vein and pretty strong. And Frank Nodarse, after a long goal drought, finds the back of the net with not a defender's finish. So let's take a look at that.
Impressive, incredibly impressive, because there's a lot of pressure when you're in a playoff position that you could lose that. So it's a whole different type of pressure that both of those teams had to come up against.
It's going to fall for Frank Nodarse! Wow, what about that? You say, I say, they all say Nodarse. Frank Nodarse makes it 6-1 to Rhode Island with his 6th.
You say, I say. One of the worst calls, I think, in all of the ESPN calls.
I mean, when you have to go to your 6th call, it's tough. You know,
I guess. But, you know, Quizera puts in a pretty decent ball that Miami just doesn't clear well enough, and Frank just slots this home beautifully. A little bit of curl on it, tucks it inside that far post. Matt Hans, talk about that defender's cool, calm, and finish.
Yeah, great finish. Best finish of the night, in my opinion. Really, best goal of the night. You know,
Matt Hans, I'm really shocked to hear you say that. Nodarse.
Yeah.
You guys think I have a crush on Noah? Wait till you hear Matt talk about Frank right now.
No, yeah, I love Frank, but I'm just gonna say I love Frank, man. He's been like he was so consistent, I think, defensively all year. So yeah, I love Frank. But yeah, great finish there. Terrible call, like you said, by the announcer.
I'm not surprised that Kevin thinks that the announcer nailed it either, though.
Yeah, of course. No, but I heard that on I was watching the highlights like last night at like I don't even know what time of night because I couldn't go to bed. I was so excited after the game. But like yeah, when I heard that, I was like, oh, come on. Terrible call. But no, great finish. Good to see he can do that. You know, I think if he Frank loves to get forward, you can tell he was having so much fun in that right wing back role. Even when he came on for those I think it was 10 minutes the last game that he played over there. He loves it, relishes it. So yeah, I mean hopefully we see some more of that from him. But you know, obviously don't rely on it from a defender, but yeah, good stuff.
Oh. Matt, you're on mute.
Footy New England wants to know where
Oh, yeah.
FQB is. He must have missed the early season injury report. FQB is out due to trunked vocal cords. He's day to day, so the Quahog corner should go as planned tomorrow, but he is out due to trunked vocal cords, screaming like a madman with his self-proclaimed Putin hat that he wears to all of the matches. Hopefully, we wish him well. We hope he's better soon, and we can get him ready for tomorrow night and back on the Quahog corner. But hopefully, he's having another glass of trunk wine and getting himself settled right now. But Andrew, talk about this goal. Frank, like we can see there, slots at home. Pretty good performance from the big guy as well, and leaving Matt Hands with a Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah, I mean, Matt alluded to him kind of being really excited, Darcy himself, when he's had time at right wing back, and I think I equated it last game to kind of a puppy off his leash, when he's kind of just been shackled back there on defense, and then when he was allowed to go up, he just got so excited, and he was having a lot of fun out there. So I think what really impressed me about this particular play is the vision. He collected that ball, and he very quickly assessed that back slot was open if you bent it around the defender, and he nailed that perfectly. So to have the vision to execute it on it pretty quickly was great. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is his sixth goal of the year. The rest have all been in headers, right? Like some of them have been on corners and like one of the free kicks, but this is his first.
All off the beautiful foot of Marky Barr.
What's that?
Off the beautiful foot of Marky Barr, of the beneficiary during the Jack B, recall.
Right. Yeah. So it was awesome to see him score on not a header. He has more in his arsenal. Yeah. So I mean, if nothing else, having him play in this position yesterday and doing pretty well and showing that he has some skills outside in the box, outside of just heading the ball, it also just gives him something to think about for playing around for next week. So it was fun to watch him.
And Kevin confirmed that was his sixth goal of the year. We see a lot of talk in the chat from Evan that Frank was dominant the whole year and that he was completely robbed of Player of the Year. I tend to agree with Jason in the chat on this one. He definitely had a good season, but not the Player of the Year. I think between the club's votes, and we can talk about this a little bit later too, that Noah and Clay got the props that they needed as far as Player of the Year. But as far as goal of the night, Patrick, was this the top goal of the evening?
On the replay, I think it definitely was. In person, though, I was on the other end of the pitch, and so it was like the hardest one for me to really see live. But the finish was phenomenal. And I think kind of like what we've said throughout this game, really, this goal. I mean, Ibarra's goal, JJ sinking the PK, AST getting on the field. There was like a number of different, like, I think, crucial things that we wanted this game to provide us. I mean, along with the win. But it was really great to kind of see us kind of cleaning up some areas and getting people on track, building that confidence. And this was one of the ones. It was great to see Frank like scoring kind of not with his head, but it was great.
No, absolutely. So taking a look at the next goal, the seventh goal was when Chico got on the score sheet, and he had a chance right before this that was actually pretty good too. But let's take a look at Chico's goal in the 75th minute to put us up 7-1. Had to do the math in my head. I'm losing count with all of these.
At fourth spot on a tiebreaker.
Well, so it seems fitting, right, for only those two to match up.
Digua, it'd be pretty fitting if he were to score, and he obliges. 7-heaven on Judgment Day for Rhode Island. They lead by 7-1, and this performance will go down as one of the best scoring performances any team has had in the USL Championship this season.
So it was fitting. Extra points good, as the club tweeted out here. Brito picks up the ball and slots Chico home in a nice position to finish. Ryan, take us through this goal.
No, I thought it was a great pass that led up to it. Chico does a great job bending his run to stay on side, which I know we've talked about a few times tonight. But with Miami playing a kind of high-ish line for what they were trying to do, we did a good job staying on sides. And then from there, there's a great finish by Chico. It's really helped that I think the Miami keeper is my height. And for those of you who have met me in person,
it's a little guy.
A compliment.
Might be Kevin's.
Yeah, I mean, he's somewhere between Kevin and me, but not good for a keeper. And Yeah, again, but great finish by Chico. I mean, again, another guy who going into the playoffs, if he could get a goal or two right before the end of the season, it's just great for momentum and great for the team. So again, if you could have drawn up before this matchup, who'd you want to score? Who'd you want to go into the playoffs with confidence? I think we got a lot of really good boosters here tonight.
That's pretty well said. We'll take a look at the last one, and then we'll get some kind of just full game reactions from all of you as Quizera slots one home in the 81st minute to give us the final 8-1 lead and what ended up being the final score.
This season is Quizera leaks in behind here, and he scores. 8 goals for Rhode Island. And it just keeps on getting better and better for RIFC on their final night of the regular season.
Well, you can almost sense the relief, and now we're seeing finally that little...
The look of dejection on the defender's face, on the keeper's face, I think was just absolutely epic in this one. But we'll start with you, Andrew. Thoughts on that last goal? Thoughts on the game as a whole? Anything you want to get in there?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it was just they were coming too easily. It just felt like when you think about the game thoughts overall. My friend of mine I was watching the game with put it nicely, where it just felt like a varsity versus JV type of scrimmage. Like the other team was kind of just so overmatched. They really weren't putting their full effort into it. Ryan said earlier that this is the team that we knew we might be getting based on their performance this year. I don't think so. I think it's even worse than that team. I think that they were so just checked out. Like if you look at the results from the last month or two, they haven't really been getting blown out. They maybe in the end score, but like they've kept it kind of tight. They provided resistance. They provided no resistance in this one. So at that point, when Quizera put up 8, I legitimately thought that 10 might be in play because
that was the chant. That was the chant. We want 10. Was
I didn't even hear that.
And, in section 13, it was loud and heavy. It was going on. We want 10 was the big chant.
And I legit thought there was a chance at that because it just felt like Miami was putting their guard down even more, and Rhode Island was just running riot. So in terms of overall takeaways, I think that there were a lot of positives to take from the game. Aside from the 3 points, the confidence booster for a lot of different players in terms of just getting into good form going into next week, getting that PK situation resolved in my mind with JJ taking that. Great to see Amos on the field and getting some minutes and maybe a little bit of a tease of what hopefully he can bring to us next year. And then the other thing for me, just going back to the Chico thing, just seeing Chico on the field. Like there were questions over the past couple of weeks of when is he actually going to be able to come back. So the fact that he was able to put in minutes, to me, a big question going into Indy now is what do you do with that pairing? Because if Chico was fully fit, you have to put Noah up there. And does that mean that you're picking one of JJ or Chico? Or do you find a situation where you're putting both up front and then trying to put Noah into a different spot, which I'd rather them not do. So I think these are good problems to have. And it's one thing that Connor said in the post-game presser is they're healthy. They're fully healthy. So all good problems. And it was just good to see that Chico was available and that we're not going to be in a situation where he's either going to have limited time or no time going into the playoffs. So great night all around.
Yeah, I think that's a great shout on Chico there. So as you mentioned, Amos Shapiro-Thompson gets on the pitch for the first time for RFC, getting in the 46th minute. Got a 7.0 on FOTMOB. I thought he was very smooth with his time on the ball. He positioned very well. Jack Peak came in the 57th, got an assist, and I thought he was phenomenal on the night. In his about his half an hour or so. Chico obviously with the goal. Turnbull came in, maybe pick up a little knock as well, and Brito came in and picked up an assist. So all 5 substitutes that we saw were able to have a pretty solid impact on this game, and I think Amos can be good for us going forward. I hope we can see him back now that he's in the system and healthy as well. But Matt Hands, your thoughts on this one as a whole?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what Quadros was saying. It was good to see Dequa in there. I was super happy to see him in training, like those photos that the club posts on social media from training. He was in there. So I was thinking he'd probably get some minutes late in this game. So that was good. Obviously, even extra bonus getting the goal. So that was great. And I don't think there's a ton that we can take from this game. Like as a team, obviously, some confidence. We got all those goals, but you also know that it's against Miami, who's just like historically bad, like one of the worst teams in like league history, pretty much. So, And yeah, like, and on Miami, like they had, I think coming in, they'd lost 7 in a row, and they hadn't scored in like any of those games. So even though I don't think that they were huge, most of them were like huge blowouts. A lot of them are like 1 or 2 nils, I think. But yeah, they've been checked out for a long time. Frankie Lopez, who was probably their best player, didn't play. He wasn't even like on the bench. So I mean, they were checked out. So with that, again, not too much I think we can take. Just maybe some of the confidence, some of the seeing the ball go in the back of the net, right? So for like JJ Quizera getting one, after he's kind of been out a little bit from international duty and kind of injury a little bit as well, and like so I think get that confidence and yeah, also good seeing Amos in there. Probably wouldn't expect to see him in the playoffs or anything unless there's like an injury crisis or something. But that was good to see him. Good to see what he might be able to bring for us in the future. But yeah, overall, like great, and looking forward to the playoffs for sure.
Good stuff. Coach Almeida on Facebook says, "Did anyone see the sub keeper for Miami? He was saying on the bench, we fucking suck after the 7th goal." That's hilarious. So I didn't catch that one on the rewatch, but I'll have to go back and I'll look for it as well. And Sarah added, "Love seeing Miami's 2 fans took a trip to Rhode Island." I want to go there and meet Mr. Worldwide, meet Pitbull at his new stadium. I think that would be a quite an away day. Patrick, overall takeaways from this trouncing of Miami?
Oh God, it was just phenomenal. The perspective from that seat upgrade like started off the night like on a high, and it delivered in ways could never have even imagined. As everyone kind of here said, like it was just amazing to see the club kind of get any areas that we kind of had lingering question marks or feel like there was a lack of confidence, kind of get those rectified. And I think, a moment that besides all the goals that really I think was special to see is Amos getting on the field. That dude is just, you can just tell that he's like put in the effort all year to try and make this moment happen. And, so many watch parties you'd go at and just guys out there just kind of cheering on his team. And, it's really cool to see kind of the camaraderie that the whole team had when he came onto the field. Like everyone was up there, like cheering him on. So a special game to close out at Bryant. And it's weird how this temporary home kind of became such a, place where so many memories and like emotions were kind of captured.
That's also a really good shout. Timmy, your final takeaways from this one?
I guess the only thing that I would add that kind of hasn't already been mentioned as far as like all of the positives, and I think I led off saying like I'm not taking much away from this game. I don't really think Miami wanted to be there or came to compete that much. I almost think like another 3-0 against El Paso would have been like a better tune-up going into the playoffs. But I think they'll go with a lot of confidence. And I think the one interesting thing that we haven't talked as much about, like going into the playoffs, that maybe we learned in the last 2 or 3 games is like there's a ton of positional depth and like substitution versatility that just hasn't been there all season. And it's not just like 5 or 6 starting caliber midfielders or 4 starting caliber starting center backs. Like all of a sudden Dugan and Nodarse can play wing back as well. Like we haven't had wing back depth all year. So depending on the game state in the playoffs, I feel like there's so much like interesting substitutions we can make. And I feel like that is something that we sort of learned from this game, if you want to give Nodarse credit for the performance there. But that was something that kind of excited me in rewatching the game.
Yeah, that's a good shout and a really good piece there, Timmy. Ryan, take us home on this one.
Yeah, I mean, well, first off, I was happy for Miami. There's a lot of pictures of them kind of strolling around Broadway in Providence, getting coffees, checking out all the local scene. As a Providence resident, I love to see them checking that out and enjoying themselves. It was good that they made the trip up. I know it wasn't a real fun time for them on the pitch, but they got to enjoy our lovely state, which was great. But I think everyone's kind of beat this to death, but the big thing I liked is that we took this seriously. Like we didn't come out and let this become a problem for us. I mean, just looking at the final stats, 19 total shots to their 4, 10 shots on target to their 1, 7 big chances to their 0. We actually missed one. So, I mean, it was just like we put in a performance. Obviously, there was not much resistance, but, we acted like professionals. We went into this as a team that said, hey, we're not letting it come out to fate. If we're going to be in the 5th spot, we're going to be in the 5th spot, and we are going to roll into the playoffs momentum. So I appreciated that. And it also made it a lot easier for us as fans because it just was like basically party from the 10th minute on. So it's a good time.
Oh, absolutely. I think the party atmosphere was evident from the opening kickoff to the final whistle. The tailgate was awesome. It was loud. It was raucous when you got inside. The place was buzzing. So it was a good way to send Burn off. And, hopefully we transition that into a great atmosphere at Tidewater as well. We'll look at some of the fan takes, and we'll start in the Defiant 1636 Discord with our guy, Leo, who had as good as Amos Shapiro Thompson finally getting minutes, his better slamming Miami like we should have earlier this season in Miami, best wealth of goals spread amongst many scorers, and JJ picking up the hat trick. His RIFC in 3 is wire to wire. Our guy Natesky had good atmosphere, better offense, 5 goals in 2 minutes. Saw a picture that said that. An 8 overall, best battling Indy in rematch, and it's RFC in 3 or never say die, and of course hit it with his signature sign-off line of RIFC. Andrew Gomes had RIFC in 3, parking lot haircuts. I got a parking lot haircut. It was phenomenal, by the way. I was so confused at what was happening. Ryan,
can I ask what? I missed this. What was that?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it wasn't you. It was Andrew and his girlfriend brought a towel that they put around you. You tilted your head back, and you got a pour of Dr. McGillicuddy down your throat with some Hershey chocolate syrup as well. It was delicious. It was
as a fellow bald,
so.
I was just more like, we're getting haircuts now. Like, what is this with that? I mean, I was very
like, yeah, but it was awesome. It definitely added to the experience. He also added RIFC in 3s. Congrats to Clay. What a barn burner, and never say die. And that takes it in from the Discord. On our Twitter, we had Evan Ryan, good. No rain finally. Better. Miami deciding not to employ a defense and giving us the ball whenever we wanted. His best was not losing anybody to Inge. Fuck you, Miami. Classic Evan status there. Our guy, Kevin, good club sold out fan appreciation night. Better JJ Williams hat trick to include a beautiful PK strike. Huge confidence builder for JJ headed into the playoffs. Best sharing an incredible moment of RAFC history with a group of some of the most passionate and best folks in the know. And then Evan responded with 911. I'd like to report a murder as a gift. So I give him credit for that one. That's pretty good as well. Also on Twitter, let me grab the RIFC in 3 tweet that we had out there, which had a lot of responses as well. Evan had defense. What defense? Miami FC. Damn the torpedoes. Fire the cannons. Never say die from FQB. Taris had what a beatdown. Nick Pereira. Holy fucking hell. Our guy Dookie Main, who I know a lot of you met for the first time. Colossal ass whipping. And Mike Modes ended with a final farewell. So all very good takes as well in there. We had on Instagram our guy Archie and Dribble Trips with wild scenes, just as a general comment and takeaway from that one. And our guy Scott from Wales, aka Mouse, a happy ending. Fusan assist record, bring on Indy, and Coach Almeida added statement win, and their name is Max F added world class football. On Facebook with RIFC in 3, our guy Tim Sheldon, keep it going. William Lamb from Sacramento, 8 massive goals. Clayton Novak, JJ freaking Williams. William Lamb added a second one. Stone Cold JJ. Jason Demers, what a block, talking about Stoneman. He also added Rodriguez for MVP. And the Burn Massacre, RIP Miami FC was his last one there as well. We had Richard Poirier with wow, what a result. And last but not least, we had Clayton Novak with, man, that was a fun match. Love the crowd reaction to Amos Shapiro Thompson finally making his RFC debut. Love seeing Noah kick off the scoring. JJ's hat trick. Stoneman sacrificing his body to block a wide open shot. Ibarra, Chico, Nodarse, and Jojea finding the back of the net. Panayutu coming off the bench like his pants were on fire. Yao completing his 32nd full 90 minutes, start to finish, a near perfect performance on to the playoffs. So thank you to everyone who wrote in. Thank you to everyone who's with us now on the YouTube. Streams have been high, so make sure if you haven't already, take a second to hit that like button. Really like that. But to kind of shift gears a little bit, and before we wrap things up, we will take a look at the Indy reaction matchup and kind of some initial thoughts on that. But we'll start with the awesome hype video that the club picked out. So let's take a look at that.
We've always spoke to them about
never say die attitude.
Never say die attitude.
never say die attitude.
I am prepared for this moment.
You don't give up. You don't quit.
Future and my destiny is calling. The battle is on. I will rise like the sun. I'll get it done. One day I'll look back and see the chance here for Rhode Island. There it is. My victory song.
Go make history, man. All I ask is go and be brave.
To put in a time capsule.
Rhode Island, the anchor is continuing to rise up.
What? Rhode Island knocked the door off the hinges. Noah Fusan's in, and he scores, looking for that playoff berth.
I want my Warriors. I want my team tonight.
Albert Dequa, the final nail in the coffin.
The never say die spirit. Every time we play, everywhere, that's part of it.
Just an awesome video from the club, from Scott Bear Media. Really kill it. Yeah, it gives you goosebumps. Patrick, talk about the feelings that little clip makes you feel.
Oh God, I've watched that video like 30 times today. It's been amazing. It makes goosebumps. I want it to be longer, honestly. I'm psyched. I'm psyched that we're going up against Indy, of the top 4 teams that we could have gone up against going away. I'm pumped that it's them. I think that they're a great matchup, and I think we're going to crush.
Oh, right on there. Matt Hands, are you getting a Cuban Missile Crisis from that video?
No. Yeah, great hype video. I mean, can they play the game tonight? Like, can we just get this over with, man? Like, I'm so excited. So proud of the team, really, for early season. Not even really struggles when you look back on it, but, couldn't get the win, so many draws, and then kind of turning things around. Like, I think Kano said, that Memphis game was really the big turnaround for them, and that was the one right before, obviously, the big Louisville win. But, yeah, proud of the team for doing that and turning things around, and, yeah, can't wait.
Timmy, you got your shirt on as Ryan does. You're pretty hyped up about this one. This has also got an air of revenge to it, as a lot of the fan base looked at that last trip to India as the throwaway game versus a team that was really struggling. So, what do you think about that matchup coming up?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like the most superstitious sports fan. Like I hate to predict like a win or say anything positive or like look ahead or anything, but I really think that they should win this game. I don't think Indy is very good. I know they've been on a little bit of a run of good form, although I was looking back at the opposition they've played in the last few, maybe 5, 6, 7 weeks, and like even the results aren't that convincing. I know they haven't lost in a few games, but I feel that if we play our best, I feel very confident that we'll win. I'm really curious what the lineup will be, because Kano's got a decision to make with Dequa, and then I'm kind of assuming that Turnbull is injured. Looked that way from the end of the game, and I would have thought that was a big problem until yesterday. But now I feel that we actually have decent cover at the right wing back, and that actually allows Dugan to slot into the center back line, which I think he belongs there. So I feel really confident.
Can I ask if Turnbull is injured, you're playing No Darce at right wing back?
I am, because for me that allows us to keep the rest of the midfield the same, but it allows Noah to stay where he was, and it allows Clay to stay where he was. And again, it moves Dugan into the center back line, which I would want to see that change anyway. Even if Turnbull was healthy, I would want to see Dugan starting against Indy.
So my opinion, just on...
I agree with Timmy there too. Got in.
Yeah. I don't think Turnbull's actually hurt for 2 reasons. One is in the post-game presser, Kano said, like, he used the words, "We're fully healthy going into the playoffs." And the second is, when he came to the sideline injured, Kano was standing right there, and the physio was standing right next to him, and neither one of them even went over to him. I think he just got like a Charlie horse or something above his knee. I think he just took a shot. I don't think that they were all that concerned about it. So I'm not too worried about him missing. I think if he doesn't play this weekend, it's because of changes in what Connor wants to do, and maybe Nodar's passed him. I doubt that's the case, but I'm guessing injury is not going to be an issue. I could be wrong, but that's my read of it.
No, and I agree with what Timmy was saying. I think Frank's our weakest center back as far as defending. So I think that kicking him out wide isn't necessarily a bad thing because it puts our three best central defenders centrally. So I think that's a really good thing. I know Hansel ripped that take apart on Cohog Corner tomorrow night, but I'm excited for this matchup. I think it's probably one of the best matchups we could have gotten for the first round. I think it's a team we can really go at. We got some revenge, based on that game we threw away ahead of Hartford, and hopefully the players see it like that as well. But what are your final thoughts on this one, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm excited. I know I was lucky enough to be able to give the paddle to JJ and Matt, and I quickly got to talk to him after. And I know he's really fired up. He was talking about, like, I've been wanting to get this off my back all year. So I think the team, I think it's kind of their mentality as a whole, like going into this match of like they're ready to kind of bring it back. I know we were talking to them after the match, and every single person was like, bring it back to Burn, bring it back to Burn. They're all were like, that's our mentality. We want to be back here. This isn't our last game here. So yeah, it's exciting to see that, internally they believe in themselves, and I think there's a lot of belief building in the fans, both in the super supporter culture, but also kind of widely in the state. You see that with a sellout last night. Attendance has been up. People are excited about this team. I think you're even seeing some like really positive press pieces, which were hard to come by. So yeah, momentum is building. Some would say the tide is rising for this team, and I know that they can go out there and beat Indy. I'm again with Timmy. I'm probably going to be writing out different lineup permutations all week. I can't wait to see what Kano does, but yeah, catch me in the Tide Talk Discord if you want to see 18 different versions of what this team might look like. But yeah, at the end of the day, I'm excited, and you can't ask for the team to go into the playoffs with better form.
That's awesome. So thank you all for joining us. Thanks for everyone who stayed to the end of this video. We still got a lot of people in here, so if you haven't already, take a second, hit that like button on this video. Make sure you tune into the Cohog Corner tomorrow to see how FQB's vocal cords are doing, and I'm sure he'll be slurping some trunk wine. So make sure you have the audio turned way up. The sound effects on it are pretty epic. But a lot of first appearances on Tide Talk. We wanted to celebrate tonight on the show like we were able to do last night at Burn. So cool getting some different faces in here as well. Again, make sure you tune into the Call Hog Corner. Make sure you check out all of the blogs that'll be coming out in the next few days from Matt and Timmy. And then, all of that stuff you can find on TideTalkRI.com. I know the Defiance is doing their watch party at the German Club. We're going to be at Providence Brewing for our pregame show. Time still be to be determined because the league is still time to be determined. So follow us on all of our socials, and we'll let you know when the pregame show will be. Rumor has it there's going to be another Tide Talk beer there, so make sure you come in, join us, make it disappear off their shelves. It was a really good time as well. But be on the lookout on our socials for posts on all of that. But thanks for Ryan, Matt, Andrew, Timmy, and Patrick joining this one. This was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun on the pitch running around like children at the end of the game last night. It was pretty awesome. I've never seen Patrick so excited. It was so much fun. But that'll wrap things up for this one. Remember, we're more than just a podcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and on our website and blogs for daily social media content. Click that link in this episode description to follow all of the accounts. I've been your host, Matt, for everyone on the panel today, the Great Ball Knowers panel, as Tyler referred to it. Thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. And as always, up the tide.
Up the tide.
Up the tide.